Tonight, we observe the great wrestling holiday that we here at Wrestling with Egos call Festivus. At Festivus, we gather at the table, or in this case, the Skype, and we talk about the ways that our family has greatly disappointed us. Now, I, for one, am not going to talk about how Brian nor Isaac have disappointed me, because I couldn't have two better friends than these two cats. But as far as the business and the thing that we love of professional wrestling, and a lot of fans, you have greatly disappointed me. Welcome to Wrestling with Egos. Happy Festivus. My name's Patrick. Thanks for joining us. As I've already alluded to, I am joined, as always, by my boys, Brian and Isaac. Gentlemen, how are you?
Good, ready to go.
B?
Ready to go.
Happy
Normally,
Festivus, gentlemen.
happy Festivus. Normally, I'm not in line with stuff like this because I like to accentuate the positive. I spend a lot of time on this show talking about, wow, did you guys see this match? Or, wow, that WrestleMania match was awesome and stuff like that. And wow, this guy is so improved from last year. But when you said you wanted to do Festivus, an airing of grievances and all that, I started thinking about, we're at the point now where I feel like wrestling should tighten a few things up. And there's some things that we're going to discuss at length tonight that need to be tightened up and need to be handled.
Yes.
Do better, wrestling.
Yes. Do better, wrestling. As you can see, to a degree, all three of us have dressed for the occasion. Isaac in his I'm telling you right now, the greatest Christmas special of them all is the original animated one, not that Jim Carrey one, and not the animated one from a few years ago, the 1950, 60 something with Boris Karloff. That one, OG, doesn't get any better than that. And then, of course, Brian, rocking a "Don't Stop Believing" Santa shirt.
New shirt.
I don't have a good Christmas shirt except for like dressy flannel, and it's already warm in my apartment. No. I mean, I already ditched the hoodie. I was wearing sweats and changed into shorts. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna be comfortable for this. Because little known fact, the big red chair right here, also a little bit warm. A little bit warm. So, again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Whether you are watching us here on the YouTubes or you are checking us out on any of our podcasting platforms, whether it be Anchor, Google, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, thank you guys so much for making us a part of your wrestling infotainment. Please do me a favor. Give me a Christmas present. Like, subscribe, share, big review, 5-star review. Especially the word subscribe. Please. I'm begging you. We wanted at the beginning of this year, we started talking about a drive for 5, meaning 500, not 5 freaking subscribers. We're up to 51. We were at 43 when we launched the drive for 5.
Hey, you know what? That's trending upward.
Yeah. No, it's like that Simpson episode with the cake. You tried. Well, let's talk about things that tried. Gentlemen, if I may, can I get my first grievance out of the way?
Go ahead.
Please. Sure.
And when I do this, I am not meaning anything towards the gentleman in the room with me, obviously referring to my boys here. But you have greatly disappointed me This is supposed to be a community of fans that feel just like our tagline says, this is why we love wrestling. But no, we're not allowed to love wrestling according to some of you dipshits. Because, oh, if you like AEW, you can't like WWE. If you like WWE, you can't like AEW. F you. I'm going to watch whatever the hell I want to watch. By the way, I watch both of them. I also watch Impact, so piss off. But the tribalism that we have gotten, by the way, thank you for that, Dave Meltzer, you unholy piece of shit. The tribalism pisses me off to no end because you're not able, if you go on social media to talk wrestling, you are not allowed to enjoy anything because nobody is satisfied. It is, if I've ever used this phrase, and I don't use it often, but there's so much meaning tonight in this than ever before. It is the minuscule militia of malcontent. And that's all it is. You want to bitch about something just to bitch about something. There's no reason. I'll give you a great example. There are people online that are pissed off because the Bray Wyatt angle isn't going anywhere. By the way, you dipshits probably never watched a single form of episodic television in your entire life. You damn sure didn't watch Game of Thrones because them bastards played the long game, just like they're doing with Bray Wyatt. But you know why? You know why you don't like it? And I'm going to say it. And Brian will cringe. You're too stupid. If you cannot see that we're playing this long game, I seriously wonder if you can read at a ninth grade level. That's the sheer stupidity and tribalism that we have in wrestling, in our wrestling fan base. I say it all the time, and I say it all the time on this show. The single most toxic thing, well, the second most, one of the most toxic parts of Twitter is wrestling Twitter. It's almost as bad as political and Star Wars. Happy Festivus.
I'm going to agree with you on that because
even the stupid part.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yes!
we want instant gratification. We want, there's people that want Bray to come out and just start, mandible clawing everything that moves. But that's not in line with this story that he's trying to tell. He's not trying to tell a Fiend story anymore.
No.
He's not trying to tell a Husky Harris story anymore. He's trying to show this iteration, and I can appreciate the growth that he's shown. When he came out as himself, or a version of himself last month after Extreme Rules, I'm like, he's talking as Wyndham Rotunda.
I'll do you one better. A little small spoiler, but it's not giving away anything. First words he says tonight in front of that crowd: Chicago, I have missed you.
It's because here's what I think about Bray. I think he realizes he's gearing up for what is going to be his last great run. Every wrestler, I think, goes through a period of time like that where they realize, you know what, I don't have many bullets left in the gun. I better make them count. And Bray has done a great job over his career of making chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what. The stuff that he was handed and rising above the stuff that he was handed more often than not.
Well, keep in mind, WWE brought in Rob Fee, who used to write for this publication company called Marvel.
Yes.
Was a part of some rather important story arcs in comic books that may or may not have made their way onto the silver screen some point within the last 10 something about a snap. something about a civil war.
So the people that are complaining about Bray obviously don't understand A, his backstory, B, his motivations, and C, what he wants to accomplish now.
Or D, the long game.
Right. Everything Bray's ever done involves a long game. There's never been anything instant gratification about Bray.
No,
You know,
I mean,
if you wanted to understand his rambling backwoods promos from years and years and years ago, you really needed to get a transcript and sit down with the thesaurus and figure out what are you actually saying here, you know, and crystallize it down to, okay, here's the thesis of what he's saying. And you're right, most wrestling fans only think they have like 25 seconds to invest in something, and don't care to actually look at the complete picture of that this guy is trying to paint.
I am surprised that wrestling fans have not grown tired of Roman.
I totally agree with that.
I'm shocked, and here's why. This is the long game. How long has Sami Zayn been tagging, tagging along with the bloodline?
June?
Right.
Come on.
And what are we and we're just now getting to Sammy being accepted.
Yeah. To be honest, I thought that wasn't going to last nearly as long as it did. I thought they let him tag along for a couple months. Okay, haha, now we're going to, run you over.
Right. Well, that definitely has not happened.
Yet.
Yeah, right. Oh, we all expect it to, and it's going to be heart-wrenching, but it's supposed to be. That's why we love wrestling. But a small faction of our community is inherently stupid. So there's my first grievance. Who wants to go next?
Isaac, get in there.
All right.
Get in there,
Here's
big man.
where I go next. My first grievance is that, and it sort of ties into what you already talked about, which was, Roman Reigns. My grievance is that there's no Raw tag team champion. I'm sorry, there's no Raw champion. Because Roman's pretty much stayed on SmackDown. And for the entire time that anyone has been on, been a champion or a world champion, they've been on Raw. And, Roman doesn't go on Raw. That's their flagship show. Why are we not having Roman on there as much as he is on SmackDown? I understand Fox loves it, but if I'm USA, I'd be like, hey, what the hell? He's not even really showing up. He'll show up once, every couple months, but this is getting ridiculous. We've been down with you literally from day one.
If I may,
Jump on in.
I think this isn't the first time that a champion has been away from Raw for an extended period of time. I mean, look what they did with Brock Lesnar all the time. The USA Network should be used to this by now. Secondly, Monday Night Raw, despite being 3 hours and an hour longer than SmackDown, 2 Octobers ago, or 3 Octobers ago, whenever it was when SmackDown went to Fox. Was that 2019?
Yes, because
I think so.
That was
Kofi
Bailey's heel turn that night, and that was when Brock squashed Kofi in 15
Okay.
seconds.
So yeah, that was 2019. Okay. That night, because Fox is shelling out over $1 billion billion with a B, ladies and gentlemen, dollars over the course of however long this television rights deal is. SmackDown became the flagship show. It became the flagship show all because of one thing and one color, and it's the color of Isaac's shirt, green.
And I would counter Isaac a little bit that it's true that Roman isn't on Raw that much. But what that's done is it's made a lot of guys hungry to occupy that spot in your brain. I'm talking about people like Seth Rollins. I'm talking about people like Bobby Lashley. I'm talking about people like Austin Theory. I'm talking about people like Ricochet, who... I'm sorry. But these people figure more prominently in the storylines on Raw week to week to help fill the absence created by the fact that there is no top champion on Raw, which is something I've been clamoring for. It can't just all be about one person. You've got a locker room full of people, guys and gals, some of whom can't make it out of catering, for many years. Get them on the show. Get them out there and wrestle. Get them out there on the microphone. It's not an ideal situation, but I would argue that it creates opportunity for these people. And you look at what Seth Rollins is doing every week with the gimmick he has right now. There's no reason that should work. There's no reason coming out and cackling in wallpaper R Us suits every week should work. But yet here he is, and he's over like Rover.
Your biggest star, or first off, I disagree with the fact that there's a lot of people clamoring for the top spot on Monday Night Raw. My opinion, no, there's not. There's one guy, and it's the guy you just named. It's Seth Rollins, and then everybody else, and there's a large gap between them. Nobody that is currently wrestling on Monday Night Raw can touch Seth Rollins. There are very few people on SmackDown that can touch Seth Rollins. There are a few, but very few. Rollins is in a category right now all to himself. I think from top to bottom, match after match after match, from a wrestling consistency perspective in just this country, don't start yelling about, oh, well, this happened in New Japan or this happened. All things U.S. wrestling. There are very few people that have been as good and as consistent in this year as Seth Rollins. I
will counter one thing really quick to that. You said there's nobody on Raw that can touch Seth Rollins. I mean, there's one person who gets to touch Seth anytime they want to.
Oh, that's Becky. Well, that's her job.
If I may be so crass and chauvinistic as to that popped into my head. I'm like, well, I can't let this moment pass by.
No,
I got to make Patrick and Isaac proud of me.
I am very proud of you. And as Becky once said, it's good to be the man's man.
Oh,
she did say that once.
Yeah.
But there are very few people.
Isaac's rubbing his temples.
Yeah, he's good God, we went there.
He's this guy.
Yeah. Seth Rollins, from just in American wrestling this year, very few people have had more consistent great match after great match after great match after great match than Seth Rollins. The only two people I might argue that have had one, longevity, and two, consistency through the entire year, probably, I would say, Dax Harwood and Sheamus.
And Will Ospreay, don't forget.
American wrestling.
Okay.
Again, Will Ospreay, yeah. And he's had longevity. I can't talk about Kenny this year because Kenny hasn't, wrestled much. Harwood.
Just trying to make you guys proud of me. That's all I'm trying to do.
Harwood, Sheamus, and Rollins, the only ones that are consistent. So no, I don't think there's anybody in Rollins's class. When they finally break the titles up this next summer, which I'm hoping happens, then okay, we'll get something new, or they'll put the title on Brock.
Would you put Drew McIntyre in that category?
No, Drew's been a little more up and down, in my opinion.
And he's had some nagging injuries too.
Yeah, he's been very good, but his 2022 was not his 2021, or his 20.
He's out right now with some ruptured eardrums or something.
Yeah. He got a little banged up in War Games.
So did Roman.
Oh yeah, well, so did everybody. It's War Games. Brian, I believe you are up next to the Festivus Pole.
Yes.
There's no decorations, because keep in mind, tinsel is distracting.
Yes, this is true. I tried to come up with a prop for today, but I didn't think of any. I'm going to preface this one by saying I don't care whether it's reputable or, just something designed to get my dander up. It got my dander up. With the news breaking this week that Vince McMahon is making overtures to regain his spot as creative head of WWE, I have two simple words for you, Vinnie Mac. Go away.
Yeah.
Go away. People have been saying for years how the world in general, and the wrestling world in particular, has passed you by, and now they couldn't be more right. You look at the way WWE has improved its product across the board, the 5 months plus since you departed. We've got rehired and refocused talents. We've got multifaceted storyline arcs, newly featured personalities calling the actual matches, and the anticipation surrounding how 2023 is going to unfold are all perfectly suitable reasons why you need to stay gone. But I got a better reason than any one of those. And that's anyone who does 1/10 of the things you've been alleged to do no longer has the privilege of being in charge of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I got a nice comfy cabana waiting for you down there at Del Boca Vista with as many scotch and sodas as you want. Thank you for your contributions to this business, but it's time for you to go. Good day, Vince. Happy Festivus.
Yeah. I agree with you. I found those reports that have been circulating in social media to be very fear-mongering. It's the word I'm going to use.
It worked.
Yeah, because oh God, Vince could be coming back. Oh God, no. Oh God, no. I mean, yeah, that's fear-mongering. I mean, that's the same way as if, insert news channel here wants to talk about, the allegations that insert country here has weapons of mass destruction pointed at insert country here. I mean, and whether or not there's a little bit of merit, a medium amount of merit, or a lot of merit to that, they're going to run with it. So yeah, I find that to be. I find the notion of Vince coming back to be laughable, because I can only imagine what kind of, corporate suicide that would be to WWE. So if they're all stupid, then yeah, they'll do it. If they're all stupid. May I
Matchup in real quick.
go right ahead?
I agree with your point on Vince coming back. I don't need him. Don't want him. I'm done with him. I really hope he doesn't. But Vince is the type of guy that is as arrogant as other people in this world that think they can get away with to do whatever he wants to do.
Right.
So if he thinks that he's going to be able to pull that crap, he will try, and we all know that.
Of course.
And I really hope that Stephanie and Triple H are able to tell him, no, don't. We're not gonna even let you have any say in anything.
Well, it's not even so much everybody keeps saying if Stephanie and Triple H will stop him. It's not Stephanie and Hunter. It's Stephanie and Nick Khan. Hunter has zero say in this because the two people that collaboratively are running WWE are Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon. They are the ones in charge. So it has.
Patrick, understand this too. The reason why I think I reacted the way I did was because of who was the lead source on this story.
Sean Ross Sapp.
No.
Oh, who?
This was in the Wall Street Journal before it was anywhere.
Really?
That's where, because when because it was a Wrestle Talk, news brief, a breaking news brief during the week. I want to say it was like Tuesday or Wednesday. And they didn't mention anything about Sean Ross Sapp. I know he's a frequent contributor to Wrestle Talk and all that kind of stuff, but they did not mention his name once. Ollie Davis and Luke Owen kept referencing the Wall Street Journal, and Luke Owen was reading verbatim from the Wall Street Journal article about it.
Okay.
That's why I kind of reacted the way I did, because I'm like, well, that's a reputable source, and I think they approached it from the business side more than anything else. They're not really talking about on-air talent or anything like that. I guess I just don't. I mean, now that I've had a chance to calm down about it, I guess I just don't see how they would allow all of the work they've done in 6 months to be undone. And the Lovebird and I were even talking about it, and she's like, well, I'm not surprised. It's his company still. You think he's not still, it's like we talked about before when I was broke. You think he's not still in the arena somewhere, putting his 2 cents in his dark corner of the, locker room area or whatever. I mean, and it's something you got to consider. If I'm Nick and Stephanie, I say, no, stay away. We're fine. We got this. But who knows what'll happen.
Fair enough.
And I don't know if Vince drinks scotch and soda or not. Maybe he's a 7-7 guy.
He could drink camel piss for all I care. I don't.
Well, there is that. That's a stiff one.
Right.
I've heard about camel piss. If you have too many of those, you better call for an Uber or something, because it's
moving on. So I've got one.
I'll be here till Wednesday, folks. Make sure you tip your waitresses and try the steak. It's really good.
I thought I was trying the veal.
I wanted to be different.
I have avoided tried the veal ever since I saw that one episode of South Park where they pretty much referred to veal as tortured baby cow. And I'm like, they got a point.
Teach your own.
Try the pork chops. Or try the tiramisu.
Can't.
Even though I'm not a tiramisu fan, it's just a fancy dessert. It's a fancy dessert that gets a lot of love. Me, give me a damn good cheesecake and I'm good.
Tiramisu has the room in it. That's why.
Oh, yes. So here's my next grievance. And if I didn't piss them off already, I'm about to piss them off now. Tony Khan, you're an idiot. All these great things that have happened in AEW. Oh my God, AEW is doing this and AEW is doing this. AEW is also signing a bunch of people with massive names and doing 2 things with them, Jack and shit. And Jack just left town. Let me rattle off some names of people that were not it was a big deal that they signed. And let's talk about what all collectively these people have done since debuting in AEW. Let's see. It was a big deal that Danhausen got signed by AEW. He's on TV every week. He's not even a B-level character in any storyline he's doing. He's background. Let's see. I'm kind of going all over the place. Ooh. They made a big freaking deal about signing Paige Van Zandt, the former UFC fighter. How many matches has Paige Van Zandt had? 0. How many posts does she post on Instagram a day? About 100. Oh, another one. On March 9th of this year, we got the debut of Jeff Hardy. That didn't turn out well. Big massive deal that Toni Storm was a signee. Yeah, women's world champion, but they booked her. I can't believe I'm going to say this. They booked her more piss poorly as champion than they did Thunder Rosa. And that, my friends, is hard as shit to do because they freaking butchered Thunder Rosa's title run. Let's see. Wheeler Yuta. Okay, they got that one right. Samoa Joe. So far, they're getting that one right. Athena. Oh my God, that was a big deal. No, it's not a big deal. You can see all of her matches on YouTube on AEW Dark. Let's see.
I can't believe you haven't said the big one yet.
Oh, I skipped it on purpose.
Okay. Or maybe not the big. I mean, the most glaring one that I can think of.
Well, there's 2. Well, no, actually, no. As far as signees go, yeah, there's only one because the other guy that's the massive disappointment this year, he was signed last year. This will get a little bit closer to it. Swerve Strickland. What exactly are we doing with him? Him and his tag team partner had a good run, but you couldn't figure out whether Swerve was good guy, bad guy. He sure as hell wasn't in the middle. It was 1 week he's good, 1 week he's bad. Back and forth, then back and forth. It's like playing tennis with someone's own gimmick. And I tapped out. And then there's the one that I will consider the big one. When he debuted on the Dynamite on February 9th to qualify for the Face of the Revolution ladder match, I lost my crap when I saw Keith Lee. How do you book him any worse than they did him on the WWE main roster? Well, I don't know how you do it, but guess what, Tony? You're doing it. You're doing it brilliantly, by the way. I mean, there is fucking up, and then there's fucking up royal. And I don't know what's past that, but that's you, dog.
I would think.
Well, hang on. That's the one. That is the one that is inconceivable to me. Keith Lee is a 320-pound behemoth of a human being that moves like he is someone that weighs 170 pounds. And you book him half-ass. No. I misspoke. I apologize. I'm not going to give you that much credit. You book him quarter-ass.
I can't think of a more precipitous fall.
Precipitous. I love that word.
So are you not counting Miro because he was last year?
Miro was last year.
Okay.
No,
Funnily enough.
No. Don't do not get me started with Miro.
Yeah.
Miro and Keith Lee are 2 of the growing reasons that I am losing so much faith in AEW. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore. It's getting worse and worse. And the people that were supposed to be the big name signings, they're doing less with than the competition.
It's funny that you brought this one up because before I changed it to something else, because I really couldn't think of how to word it, I was going to say AEW is teetering dangerously close to becoming their competition because they're just in sign this guy so nobody else can sign him mode.
They are no. Don't even give them that much credit. They are teetering very close to becoming TNA. Not Impact. Impact right now. I don't know if you guys are watching Impact right now. Impact right now might be the best shit on TV. But I'm talking TNA when Dixie Carter and Jeff Jarrett were running it. Pre the Aces and 8 storyline. Before Hogan and Bischoff came in to run creative. When it was Jarrett and Dixie and John Gabrick and those guys. And they just signed everybody that WWE released, good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, for fart's sake, they signed Tyson Tomko. And they put him in a main event stable with AJ Styles and Christian. One of these things is not like the other. Anyway, moving on. Back to you, Brian.
I'll go next because it also is about AEW, and this is my second and final.
Good God, we are turning this. We are actually turning this into an AEW bashing session to a degree.
Well, to an extent, because AEW is on its way to making everything associated with Ring of Honor feel irrelevant, I think.
Agreed.
I thought that when they announced this partnership or whatever you want to call it, acquisition or,
acquisition.
I thought, okay, it's going to be maybe a month before Ring of Honor gets its own television spot, wherever that is and however that is, an hour long show somewhere.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
And then you can educate the fans about, okay, here's who we are, here's our championships. You can take a guy like Daniel Garcia and put the pure championship on him and just have him defend it every week and turn him into a poor man's Bryan Danielson, in my opinion, because the guy's got the chops to do it. I don't know how many titles Ring of Honor has, but that's an opportunity for all the Ring of Honor people that you're in your employ to be on TV every week. Some of your underutilized talent on AEW that are languishing on Dark and Elevation all the time can go over there and be in a frontline program. But every week that passes without that, you're making it feel irrelevant. You're making it feel like it's just another passel of guys, another bunch of belts that we can hot potato all over the place. And I only say that because I am learning now about the rich history of Ring of Honor. Every so often I find a free match on YouTube and I watch it and I'm just sitting there, I'm spellbound.
Oh yeah,
watching
Ring of Honor back in the day.
People like Nigel McGuinness and people like Bryan Danielson in the early days of CM Punk and the early days of Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, and the list goes on and on and on. That lineage and that history and all that is something we're celebrating. And you're going to tell me you can't find 20 or 30 guys and gals that could replicate that on an hour or 2 hour long TV show every week and have it stand on its own away from AEW?
This is how little they truly feel about Ring of Honor. This is an article I'm reading from Inside the Ropes. TBS was initially against Chris Jericho appearing on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view Final Battle, according to a report. Blah, 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 blah. Obviously, Jericho lost at Final Battle to Claudio Castagnoli. But a new report suggests that a TBS executive was not initially fond of Jericho appearing on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view and considered having Jericho drop the belt at Full Gear. Just to avoid putting the Ring of Honor World title on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. So to jump in with what you're saying, so now you've also got TBS, you've got, Warner Media, Discovery, whatever the name of the conglomerate is now, you've got executives trying to book creative for a wrestling product that you do not own distro rights to.
That's stupid.
This sounds fun.
So what you're telling me is
it's like me walking into Shawn Michaels' office and saying, "Hey, buddy, I got this. I'm taking over."
No. I'll do you one better. So what you now have is, I'm just throwing all of this out here, but it's the same thing. A CBS executive, a Viacom executive, walks into the offices of the NHL and tries to tell Gary Bettman, who is a complete and utter putz, but tries to tell Gary Bettman how ESPN should be presenting their product.
Hey, you should put more Buffalo Sabres games on, guys.
Yeah. This mother effing TBS executive has about as much business telling AEW how to run their business as any wrestling fan on the planet, including the three of us, including every last one of you. Moving on.
Wow.
Can you guys tell that my disappointment in our fellow wrestling fans has come to the surface tonight during Wrestling Festivus?
And it runs swift and deep, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it runs. Yeah. Yes.
Real deep.
Yes. It is.
Watch out for that iceberg 7 miles off. Just a warning.
Yeah, it is.
You might want to go hard port now.
Yeah, it is one of the things in life this year that has angered me to no end. Sadly enough, all the things this year that have angered me to no end all involve stupid people. You can draw your own conclusions on that one, boys and girls. But if you know, you know.
I know.
I got another one. Or are we still going?
Oh, we're still going. Like a Lionel Richie song. We can do this all night long.
Oh, that. Okay.
By the way, real quick, the version of that song with Lionel Richie and Jimmy Buffett, God, that's good.
I've never heard that version.
Oh, it's good. Got the steel drum in it and everything. It's on Eddie. I almost said Eddie Murphy. Jesus Christ.
If you said Eddie Murphy and you, oh God,
Lionel Richie did a collab album where he did covers of his own songs and did duets with country singers. The album's called Tuskegee. So like he does like Lady with Kenny Rogers.
Oh, that would be nice.
Oh, it was dope. He did Stuck on You with Darius Rucker, also known as Hootie. And did All Night Long with Jimmy Buffett. And that one is just it's on the list of songs where another version is better than the original, because you get that steel drum in there, that Jimmy Buffett vibe into that song, and it's just like, oh my God, this is how this song should sound.
There's also, and you guys are going to cringe when I bring up this name, but I love him, so I don't care. On one of Jason Mraz's live albums.
Why would I cringe at the name Jason Mraz? I love him.
I don't know. Okay. I didn't know. I mean,
I got some real love for Jason Mraz.
Jason Mraz is a genius.
His second live album, and I forget what it's called.
My friends have turned me on to Jason Mraz for past
he
couple.
He does a cover of All Night Long, and it's really good.
Really?
Yes.
I gotta look up some stuff, ladies and gentlemen.
Because All Night Long is a very, very good song.
In fact, let me look at.
God love Lionel Richie, y'all. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, I mean,
if you don't, I can't even mess with you.
First off, the man gave us all of those amazing songs in his solo career, and he was also a freaking Commodore. Come on. She's a brick.
It's called A Beautiful Mess.
What? Beautiful Mess?
The album is called Beautiful Mess.
Okay.
All right, cool.
And it's got live. It's got All Night Long towards the end, but it's still like really good.
I will find it.
Yes.
Who has other grievances?
That'll be me.
Big man, hit it.
This is the one time we're not slamming AEW right now. I'm gonna go back to WWE and just let it fly. I got an issue with the WWE in the tag team division.
Uh-oh. Hit it, big man.
Huh?
Hit it. Because I was not expecting this. But as soon as you said tag division, I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. I have a feeling I know where he might go, and I hope he does.
I got a problem with the tag division. Now I understand that the Usos have held those tag belts for a while. In almost a year's time, they've had it. I get it. I understand it goes along with Roman and them being the ones and all that other stuff. But honestly, if I'm in the tag division and I'm not getting a shot, and I'm gonna be kind of pissed off. Number one, I'm getting upset with this. Number two, you're not giving me opportunity. Three, and these guys are showing up when and wherever. I got an issue with that. We're gonna sit here and get mad at Kofi and Xavier Woods going down to NXT and taking the tag belts, taking those world tag team belts. I ain't mad at that because that's going to bring more people down to watch NXT for those two guys. But at the same time, you can't monopolize those belts, just for the Usos so that the family, for the bloodline can have it the entire year and waste so many other teams out here that won't get a chance to do anything. You got all these teams wrestling that aren't doing anything, won't have a chance to beat those guys. I got a problem with that.
Brian, you first.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, Isaac, but that last point you brought up about all these tag teams, there really aren't all these tag teams out there. Just because WWE this is one thing they haven't really done in the 5.5 months since Vince has been taken out of power. They still have not invested in tag teams again the way they used, or the way they did. I'm trying to think of the last time there was a significant passel of tag teams out there that were going for the belts, and maybe it was the mid-2010s. And I could even be wrong on that. Maybe we got to go back to the mid-2000s to think of that.
How about the late 90s?
Yeah, I mean, it's why when we were doing our Iggy's prep last week, I had such a hard time coming up with tag teams beyond the usual suspects, and half of them aren't even in WWE. I had FTR down, I had Lucha Bros, I had the Usos, and then I'm like, and then I came up with the Acclaim, thank God, scissor me daddy ass. But after that, I'm like, okay, I only have 4 tag teams here. Tag team wrestling is a thing in AEW. Tag team wrestling is a thing in NXT. I mean, love him or hate him, Pretty Deadly are a really good tag team.
They're a great tag team.
Yeah.
Love him or hate him.
Oh, no. Hate them.
Right.
Why? Because if you're not hating Pretty Deadly, Pretty Deadly isn't doing their damn job.
And then
yes,
I'm
boy.
going to butcher their names, but the 2 guys that came out to say the pledge with Kofi and Woods the other night, Briggs and Jensen.
Yeah, Briggs and Jensen.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Brooks Jensen is the son of Bull Buchanan.
Really?
Yes. That is Barry Buchanan's son.
Wow.
So Isaac, that's the one part of your grievance that I'll take exception with, because that's the argument for just saying the Usos have it until the bloodline inevitably crumbles to ashes. Because what else is happening? You know, they ran Randy Orton and Riddle at him a bunch of times this year. Nothing happened. They ran
the Profits.
The Street Profits at him. I thought for sure the Profits might take it off of him, because the Profits definitely put in the work and deserved it. Where have they been at? You know, or is one of them injured or something like that? Is Montez injured?
They just came back. They both
just came back.
Okay.
Probably
they ran Otis and Chad Gable at him a couple of times. They ran see, I'm running out of tag teams. They ran Butch, Pete Dunne for the uninitiated, and Ridge Holland at him, and that didn't work. So my point is, you're just trying to sweep up the scraps of your roster and put tag teams together. That's not investing in the tag division.
You're doing what I once referred to on this show as you're creating and tag teams.
Yeah.
So and so and so and so. So you know, Brian Kriego and Patrick Swafford, but not a team name, just 2 people.
Yeah.
And
Sheamus and Drew McIntyre.
Right.
You know.
And sometimes sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like, for example, we could have Austin Theory and Omos.
Oh my.
It's like going old school and having, the Junkyard Dog and, Tito.
Santana.
Thank you.
Right. And the reason I was laughing so much and, mouthing son of a bitch and everything else, because I'm like, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, no,
I won. I beat him for what?
As soon as he said all these tag teams, I'm like, let me look at the roster. What tag teams?
And B, when you said the only problem I have is when you said all these tag teams. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, we are on the same wavelength. I got one more grievance.
Okay.
Why, in God's name, does 90%, and this is not an AEW thing, this is not exclusively an AEW thing, not exclusively a WWE thing, this is across the board. Why, oh why, does 90% of wrestling entrance themes completely suck? They are all freaking generic. It doesn't matter if it's Def Rebel making it for WWE or if it's Mikey Ruckus making it for AEW. They're all very formulaic, and the only time you get anything different is when you actually have I'm not trying to say that the guys from Def Rebel and Mikey Ruckus aren't real musicians, because they are, but they're studio people. When you actually have like a touring band, like for example, Code Orange, who just released Shatter, Bray Wyatt's entrance theme on iTunes today. Thank you. When you've got them providing an entrance theme, or when Alter Bridge, lends both Metalingus for Edge's theme and the other side for Judgment Day. When you've got that, those are great. But
yeah, we're not in a golden age of wrestling themes anymore. I mean, gone are the days when you'd go on YouTube and see what Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano were doing with the Glorious Bomb. I mean, that's one that sticks in your head. Gone are the days when primetime players would come out doing millions of dollars. And it's...
I miss that.
I do too. I mean, and even...
We all miss that. Let's start there. We all miss that.
Even something as straightforward as the one Randy Orton used to have when he would come out and get up on the turnbuckles and pose, it's like they're just formulaic. They're not memorable. They're not designed to be, blaring out of people's cars and stuff like that. They're just, okay, if you're going to walk to the ring for 30 seconds, it's fine. We don't need anything.
Yeah. I can literally, as far as the ones that Def Rebel have done, I can count on one hand how many of them are actually really, really good. And the three I always start with are Roman, Rollins. Actually, I can only think of two. Roman, Rollins. Oh, and Karrion Kross.
The last theme song that I've heard anywhere that makes me like pop was Keith Lee's when he was in NXT.
God, Keith Lee's was the first one, not the second.
Glory.
The second one was the first one went hard.
Yeah.
Who did the theme song for Bobby Roode?
That was the CFOs. Who did Nakamura's CFOs? Who did Balor CFOs?
I'm sorry, but CFO, I need you back. I'm sorry. I really.
They got dropped because their record label that they were associated with pulled a massive ass power play.
I think the genius of the CFOs is less is more.
Yeah.
Because all three that you just named, Finn's, Bobby Roode's, and Shinsuke Nakamura's, there's not much to them.
No,
it's one instrument.
I can keep going.
In Bobby Roode's case, a choir.
Right.
But featured and eminently replayable, and it's an earworm.
Not just that, but also quick. Because if you listen to every last one of them, you get about 90 seconds, and then it repeats.
Right.
And repeats and repeats. I can keep going as far as the CFOs. Undisputed Era. Johnny Gargano.
Yep.
Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, all of those, those are great themes. I mean, literally.
Did you Rhea Ripley?
Huh?
Did the CFOs do Rhea Ripley?
Yeah, the CFOs, along with Ash Costello of New Year's Day, did Rhea Ripley. Oh my God, Aleister Black.
Yeah, that one's. So yeah, we're at a point where they're all like disposable, interchangeable, not memorable. Like I'm trying to think of one right now. About the only one in AEW that makes me pop whenever I hear it is Hangman's.
Yeah.
Because it starts off with the clippity clop of the horses, and I'm always intrigued when he comes out because of his gimmick and all that stuff.
Right.
But where AEW finds success is when they buy the rights to a song.
And they've done that a ton.
Yeah, the way the Bucks and Kenny are doing with Kansas, and the way Jungle Boy did with,
Tarzan Boy, and John Moxley doing his version with the major league version of Wild Thing.
Right.
Jericho coming out to his own freaking song.
He knows the guy.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah,
he knows.
He's got in with some people.
But that's the thing. Oh, Ruby Riott coming out to Rancid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though he's not there anymore, mercifully, CM Punk coming out to Living Color, Cult of Personality. Still one of the best songs ever written. But that's where AEW got your attention with their themes because it was somebody else's work. You know, wrestling themes now, they're interchangeable. They're interchangeable. They're boring. They're not good. I miss Jim Johnston.
Yes.
We all miss Jim Johnson.
I still don't think that Jim Johnston would have given you anything as good for Nakamura as the CFOs did. I mean, I don't think we get that absolute gem. Which, my opinion, that's the CFO's greatest work. Is Nakamura's thing. Just absolutely beautiful. And just goes freaking hard.
Yep.
That was my last one.
I'm out of grievances. I did my 2.
I got one more.
Alrighty.
My last grievance is, and I don't mean to slam AEW one more time, but
Why not? I've been doing it all night.
I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna say this. You guys can disagree, not disagree. I still think the Elite should have been out way longer than they were. I felt that it was way too soon for them to come back, and for what they did, and for the position that they're in, and the pull that they have, for them to come back that soon. I just thought that was all sorts of wrong in every sense of the way. If you don't know what I'm referring to the fight with CM Punk and, with those guys being, EVPs, and it was behind the scenes. That was some hot garbage. And for them to come back this early, give them 6 to 8 months off and let them think about it and let them start really thinking about, we got to be better than this.
Oh, they can't do that because they gave into the pressure of the minuscule militia of malcontent. Oh my God, you should bring back the Elite. Bring back the Elite. Newsflash: as great in the ring as Kenny Omega is, the Young Bucks are not the best tag team on the planet. The Young Bucks aren't even the second best tag team on the planet right now. Maybe not even third. If they are a third, the gap between 1 and 2, which by the way would be FTR and the Usos, and then number 3 is quite a big drop. The Young Bucks are exciting for some people, a lot of people, not me.
They're at a point now where they need to evolve again to stay relevant. They run the risk of becoming irrelevant here.
I completely agree.
Really soon.
I completely agree. I know there would probably be a lot of people that will disagree with that, and you know what? You are entitled to. You will think that we are wrong, and we will think that you are wrong. But here's the great thing: unlike being so many, that minuscule militia of malcontent, we will allow you to have your point of view, as long as you allow us to have ours, and we can meet in the middle and agree to disagree.
And we even have ways that you can make your opinion heard. You can tweet the show at WrestlingXEgos. You can email the show, wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. And you can let us know why you think we're wrong and that the Young Bucks deserve to be named presidents of the world yesterday.
If you're on YouTube, there's also that little thing right down there that says comments. Feel free to comment. And also, by the way, we're on Facebook. Facebook.com/Wrestling with Egos. Feel free to comment on that one too. Oh, by the way, like, subscribe, share, 5-star review. Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Please. Pretty please. I'm saying pretty please. I am a 43-year-old grown-ass man saying pretty please.
In all seriousness, though, to all of our viewers and subscribers out there in Wrestling with Egos land, seeing as how this is our final show, of the year 2022. We are going to be taking a much-deserved Christmas and New Year's hiatus. We're going to come back as a Lean Mean Wrestle Talking Machine in 2023 with our Iggy Awards episode to kick off the new year. I want to say thank you for all the support, all the feedback. Your feedback helps us get better, and we appreciate the views. We appreciate you sharing and spreading the word. That's just for me, and I'm sure everybody else will echo those sentiments.
Oh, completely agreed. It's been a fun. It has been a interesting year, and the house of the rant. But we are ending 2022 on one hell of a high note. We're talking like Mariah Carey in her prime high note. Yeah, we up there. Like her hitting that high note on Someday.
Oh God.
Yeah, that one. That's the kind of high
If
note.
that note has a name, I don't know what the name is.
Doesn't matter.
I don't either, but damn. But that's the kind of high note that the House of the Rant is ending on. And I personally want to apologize because of me being in and out so much. Personal stuff. You guys can probably fill in the blanks as to what happened because the location of this place, the location of what you see behind me changed very drastically, very quickly. So you can probably draw your own conclusions, and you're probably right, and it wasn't my fault. Moving on. But I also wanted to thank not only you guys, but you two as well, because I wanted to end this. Not me, not end me. I wanted to end the show because I had really fallen out of love doing this. It became a grind. And very recently I had a discussion with these two beautiful gentlemen, and they both kind of inspired me to find ways to get fired up for this thing. Yeah, Brian can take a lot of effing credit on that one. And I am very excited about where we're headed for next year. I wish I could say we're headed for something very big in 2023, but no, I can't say that. Because we probably, let's be honest, we probably ain't. I will tell you this. In 2023, we are going to be, and I haven't talked it over with these guys yet, but we're going to be launching the drive for 200. How about 200 subscribers by the end of 23? And I don't know if I'm as willing this year to take a woo chop from Brian or Isaac. I don't know, but you know what? If we hit 200 subscribers by the end of the summer, I will give you people something you have been asking for a while. I will give you Golfing with Egos Volume 3. There's your incentive for 200 subscribers. Golfing with Egos Volume 3. Because you know the first two were funny as hell.
Oh my goodness, gee whiz.
God.
Okay, let me go real quick. Okay, I want to thank both these gentlemen. I want to thank everyone that's been associated with the show. These guys know that it's been a chaotic year for me.
Preach.
You know, we've all gone through our ups and downs. I'm very ecstatic that I'm still here, smiling sometimes.
Amen.
I want to make sure that we go forward, that it is a pleasure going forward. Hopefully we got some things that will come up within the next year that we will look forward to in the future. The drive for 2, this is going to be fun. Um, um, and at the same time, we hope that if there's something that you want us to discuss, that you want us to review, check out something on YouTube or review a match, let us know because I'm interested to see what you guys want.
And you know what? I almost jump in with this one. As far as you want us to like do watch alongs and matches, the crappier the better.
Bring the crap, please.
Bring us your absolute shit-tastic match that no matter what always cracks you up just because of how bad it is. Then we can spring it on the other two, much like how I once sprung the King of the Road match on RJ and Brian, and then was it RJ that got his revenge, or was it you that got the revenge?
I think it was RJ.
Probably RJ.
Yeah, RJ then turned around and assigned homework for me, the Kennel from Hell match.
Yeah.
God.
Hey, days.
Seriously, that one is in bonus content. If you guys want to watch, that might be some of the funniest stuff we've ever done on this show. It's just me and RJ. After we had just done a podcast, Brian was like, nope, screw it, I'm going to bed. And RJ and I had Mystery Science Theater 3000 coming to Wrestling with Egos. It was great. Anything else anybody want to say?
Good.
Nope, I'm good.
I'll go ahead and get the big ones out of the way. Thank you to Isaac's family. Thank you to Brian, to Brian's family, the Lovebird, everybody else in-house Kriego. Thanks to Mama Swafford. Thanks to the Hurricane. Thanks to Christy, Sharon, Drew, Lundy. Love you, homeboy. Jen. Jason Wigley, if you're watching, I love you, man. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for giving me the shot of a lifetime earlier this year at work. Life has been kicking ass ever since. Thank you. That's me. I'm done.
Okay. And a big shout out goes to our new mate from across the pond, Katie Hinken, who has added a new element to this show that we didn't know we were missing, but we're glad he's here. He will be joining us again in the new year. He's sorting out some technical difficulties, some interweb issues and stuff like that, but he is going to be a regular feature on this show going forward. We thank him for lending his talents to our little motley crew here.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? Here's what I'll do. I'll blame it on the fact, even though this is not true at all, England is still in a state of meltdown because they did not make the World Cup final.
Boy.
Hey, we're the only country in this world, except for Canada, that does not have football, or as we call it, soccer, as our main sport.
True.
That should tell you something, boys and girls. Anyway, that's going to do it for the final episode of Wrestling with Egos in the year 2022. To all the people that we have thanked previously from the bottom of our hearts, we love you. Life would not be the same without you. For you guys that have been with us and listened to us and watched us for 3+ years now. We're coming up on, Jesus Christ, we're coming up on 4 years come WrestleMania. Holy crap. Damn. Thank you guys for hanging with us. Here, even though it's not an adult beverage, here's to you guys and more fun, more stupidity, more absurdity, and more shenaniganery.
Bottoms up.
In the year 2023. For Brian, for Isaac, my name's Patrick. This is Wrestling with Egos. And this is damn sure why we love wrestling. Cheers.